Chapter 1, Essential Ideas. Chemistry is the study of the composition, properties, and interactions of matter. Matter is anything that occupies volume and has a mass. Essentially, chemistry is studying what matter is made up of, what it is like, and what happens when different things encounter each other. Chemistry is often called the central science because of all the fields it is related to. Some of these fields include nuclear chemistry, environmental science, food science, and material science. It is likely that your major is not chemistry, but you will need chemistry in each of your careers. In this class, we will primarily be learning things that are already known. They have already been discovered. We need to keep in mind as we learn them the way that they were discovered, using the scientific method. The scientific method is a circuitous process, but it involves four main things: observations, hypotheses, theories, and laws. Consistently seen observations can become laws, and consistently confirmed hypotheses can become theories. Confirmed hypotheses can give us information that allows us to make new hypotheses, so scientific testing keeps moving forward. Let's look at each of the four parts of the scientific method in more detail. Observations can either be random or through experiment. A random observation could be you walking down the sidewalk and noticing a particular feature about a tree that you see. Most observations need to be set up in a controlled way for a specific set of results, so scientists set up experiments which allow them to gather data. Whether random or through experiment, you are using your senses to tell you something about the world. Observations answer the question, what? What is happening in the world? What is the world like? An example of an observation is that someone you know who is a milkmaid did not contract smallpox. Another example would be that a ball was dropped and had an acceleration of 9.8 meters per second squared. When you observe the same thing over and over again, you can summarize those observations with a law. Laws give us patterns or trends in observations and summarize things that always happen. Laws still answer the question, what? What is happening in the world? What is the world like? For example, if none of the milkmaids you know get smallpox, you can express that as a law. All milkmaids do not get smallpox. Another example of a law would be F equals ma, force equals mass times acceleration. A hypothesis is a tentative explanation for observations. It is tentative, meaning we are unsure. It is a guess. A hypothesis has either not been tested at all, or has not been sufficiently tested to be confident about its truth. A hypothesis answers the question, why? Why do things happen the way they do? To be a good hypothesis, it should be specific and testable. It should be falsifiable. There should be some potential result which would show the hypothesis to not be true. A good way to express a hypothesis is as an if-then statement. An example of a hypothesis is that milkmaids do not contract smallpox because they have already been exposed to cowpox. Another way of saying that is that if a milkmaid is exposed to cowpox, she will not contract smallpox. This is falsifiable. If we expose a milkmaid to cowpox and she gets smallpox anyways, our hypothesis has been proven false. Another example of a hypothesis is that all apples fall from trees because of gravity. We could set this up as an if-then statement as well. If I move an apple to outer space where there is no gravity, then it should not fall. Again, this would be falsified if it fell even when there was no gravity. The word theory is overused and misunderstood. Often when people say, I have a theory, they really mean, I have a hypothesis, because they haven't tested it yet. A scientific theory is a hypothesis that has been confirmed over and over again. Please watch the video linked in this slide about the difference between a law and a theory. Throughout the semester, I will be asking you poll questions. After I finish reading and/or instructing about each question, please pause the video and try to complete the question on your own. On the following slide, I will give a brief explanation of the answer. You can find the answers to all of the poll questions, as well as worked calculations for the poll questions, in the Course Resources section of Blackboard. In this question, you should pick the term that means a tentative explanation for observations. Is it A, experimental observations, B, hypothesis, C, law, or D, theory? The correct answer is B, hypothesis. It is tentative, meaning we are unsure. It is a guess. It answers the question why, so it is an explanation.